Today we are making refrigerator pickles. What does that mean, you ask? That means you do not need all of the canning stuff, which not many people do. But if they do, just borrow from your friend to do all that and learn all that stuff. I want to teach you guys the easy way to do stuff with minimal things. That's my biggest thing. You don't need all the fancy tools. Just get a jar, get some pickles, cucumbers, not pickles. We're making pickles. And you get to have pickles within a week, which is so cool. So before we prepare our cucumbers, which I guess I should explain, these are called pickling cucumbers. You see, they're smaller and cute and kind of little fat little things. They're so good, which means they're juicy and full of good flavor. This is what you want to get. Obviously, if you can't find that at farmer's market, get a regular cucumber. It's all gonna work out the same, but these are my favorite. So let's make the brine. Now you're asking, what is a brine? Well, it has lots of salt and vinegar. That is what's gonna make your pickle. So let me show you how I did it. For the brine, we are gonna need a medium to a large pot, and I have 4 cups of water already in here. We're gonna add 2 cups of white vinegar, 2 tablespoons of salt, which I love Redmond salt, because if you see it's pink, it has tons of minerals. This is what it looks like. It's my favorite if you need a fine salt. And then 2 teaspoons of sugar. We're gonna mix that and bring it to a boil until it all dissolves, and that is all. So the boiling took about 5 minutes, and as you can see, if you use the salt with minerals, the minerals are gonna settle. So you're gonna wanna just mix the whole entire time until your salt and sugar is dissolved. And then we're gonna pull it off and let it go to room temperature, and you'll be ready to use it. Now we are gonna cut our cucumbers. Now this is gonna depend on how big your jar is. So I have a pretty big one. That way I can fit a lot in here. Obviously it's gonna fit if I just cut the spears like this. But if you have a smaller jar, like a traditional regular size mason jar, which we use for drinking also, you are gonna wanna measure and make sure. So these are gonna fit also, because you gotta think, these will float when you add the brine to it. So you wanna make sure that they're gonna fit in here. Because the more you scrunch in there, they're not gonna get all yummy and briny and pickly. You can, another thing, is cut them into little coins, is that what they call them? Circles. You can get the fancy thing that make them look all rigidy. It's totally up to you. I like to cut a little bit of the ends off, because I don't know about you, I do not like biting into a pickle that has an end on it. That's disgusting to me. So cut it off. Or if you like it, leave it on. That's a cool thing. It's your pickle. Do what you want. Okay, I guess I just played. I'm gonna cut them in half. This can be you can make them large if you like a big pickle. We're talking food here. Or you can make them as small as you want. Make them how you like them. We're gonna cut them in half. Some people leave them whole. I don't like that. I don't wanna, no. I mean, you could just cut them in half. That's could be enough too. Obviously, if they're a little, oh gosh. We'll see, look at that, messed up. My tip would be that whatever size you're cutting them, keep them at that size for that particular jar. Now, if you want to make them a little different size for a different size jar, go for it. Ooh, it's up to you. You get to be the decider. I am obsessed with pickles. Can't even talk. Again, I have an issue talking, can you tell? If you've watched enough videos. I love them. These take about a week to fully get to that pickle flavor that I absolutely love. Now come day 4, they're edible. I would just try them every day, see how you like them, and kind of make note like, oh, okay, these were pretty good at this day, and it's totally up to you. But I would leave them in the fridge for about a week. And then every week that you have a new farmer's market, get more so that you can just constantly, by that week's up, and you can start eating them. Then you'll have a whole nother batch already made, and it'll just be goodness all summer long. The only thing with these, with them being refrigerator pickles, is that you cannot put them on your shelf. They are not shelf stable. So that's the one thing with canning that is a beautiful thing, because you can keep them in your cupboard and they just last forever. Well, if you don't have the canning equipment, then this is just a great way to make the same sort of thing. And they'll keep in the fridge for a couple months. I mean, they have a brine on them, so they're essentially fermented. So I've also, as we were sitting here chatting, I've also done many different types of pickles. So I've added mustard seeds, and what else did I add? Turmeric. My favorite was this one with, I didn't even explain to you, with dill, with garlic and peppercorn are my absolute favorite. I did a couple testers last year and that was just my absolute favorite. Now some people like sweeter pickles, so you can add more sugar to your brine. And another cool thing is that you can, you double the recipe for the brine depending on how many pickles and jars you have. I have about 12 to 13 cucumbers here, but just go off of how many jars you have. And then if you have extra brine left over, all you have to do is keep in your fridge. And then the next week when you have more cucumbers, cut them up, throw them in, and you're done. So it's super easy. Doesn't have to be difficult, and it's so delicious. We're almost done. I guess I'm just chatting away and not cutting very quickly. We're almost there. You know what I'm gonna do after this one? I'm gonna make sure I have enough jars for my pickles. Always make sure that, because if you start cutting all these cucumbers and you don't have enough jars, you're just gonna have to end up eating them. I guess they can go with salad. I've been making sushi on my own, so I put those in there, so that's another thing. All right, we're gonna stop here. Just see how we do here. Now, we are gonna do kind of half and half. So I'm gonna put half of the garlic, half the dill and peppercorns in the bottom, and then half on top, which will kind of help keep it down so that all the pickle or all the cucumbers don't start floating up. So we're just gonna, so we're gonna add the garlic and all the stuff that goes in. So we're gonna put a few garlic cloves in the bottom, a few sprigs of dill. Now, if you have the bigger jar, you're obviously going to need more of each thing because you need more to flavor. Probably about, I don't know, 10, just grab a handful or a pinchful of peppercorns. And then we are going to stack these in here. Just grab a whole bunch, as many as you can get because it's easier. So they all stay in the same kind of direction. Now again, these are smaller, so this one can fit quite a bit of cucumbers. So just kind of get them in there. I'm so excited. These are so good. Oh, see, that one fell. It's okay. It's forgiving. And you want to make sure that you're leaving enough room for all that brine in there too. You don't want to overpack it. So that's about good. Now we're going to add a little bit more dill. You kind of can't overdo it with this stuff. So, and again, with it crushed, if you guys saw the fermented garlic, crushing it gives it those antibacterial properties, which, I mean, pickle and being good for your health, come on. Pickles are actually good for your gut if they're, you know, done right, not with all the additives. So that's the great thing. We added more peppercorns, and now we are gonna add our brine. The one thing with the brine is you wanna make sure that it's at room temperature. So if it's too hot, it's gonna cook your cucumbers, and that's gross. We don't want that, so we want it cooled down. I'm gonna grab over here. I got a giant thing, probably should have. So I wanna show you guys in here. If you see all this stuff that's settled, that's the minerals from the Redmond salt. Now, if you don't use Redmond salt, that's not going to be there. That has settled because it's mineral rich. That is fine. It'll settle in your pickles also. Just shake it and you'll be fine. So we're going to take this. Why am I using that? I don't need that. Okay. We are going to pour until it reaches the top. And there we go. Then close it up And you, my friends, just made your first jar of pickles. This will go into the fridge, like I said, for a week, and then you can eat them. Gut healthy, yummy, and if you can't wait for a week, check day 4. It should be pretty good. And again, if you want it to be a little less sugary, just do half the amount of sugar. And if you want, you can always reduce this by half for the brine if you have less pickles. So I'm just gonna fill the rest of my jars and create more pickle goodness for my family. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you have questions, let me know, guys. And I will see you